Okay, so this part one response is pretty short, so I'm putting my comments and the actual response in one video. We're looking at someone talking about teachers. First question here is a little bit unusual. Do you like any teachers of yours? That assumes that you are still a student. So I think this question is a little bit unusual. When they ask you about teachers, usually it'll be something like, did you like any of your teachers when you were in school, or when you were in high school, or when you were in elementary school, or something like that? Because if you're not a student right now, how are you going to answer this question in the present tense?
There were a few teachers that I was particularly fond of. I'll tell you about my PE teacher, Miss Burrier. Since she knew I was painfully shy and especially clumsy when it comes to gym class.
Now, just one thing. When it comes to gym class, this is in the past tense, so when it came to gym class,
She allowed me to do the dance routine that she assigned to us in a private room only in front of her to save me from the embarrassment. I so appreciated it.
I so appreciate it. Alright, so there's a little bit of stress there on the so, otherwise the voice is a bit flat. Do you still keep in touch with your teachers?
I've lost contact with all elementary and middle school teachers, but I keep in touch with a couple university professors. As uni professors are allowed to have more of a relationship with students, it was easier to get to know them. My Spanish professor and I message back and forth every year to catch up.
Maybe here message each other back and forth. Do you want to be a teacher? This is kind of a common question. Like, for example, if the topic is, let's say, about music, they'll ask you, do you want to be a singer? Or if the topic is, in this case, about teachers, do you want to be a teacher? It's pretty common. You can just substitute teacher with almost any other profession.
As I'm not a patient person, I don't think teaching is for me. Furthermore, I dread the thought of standing in front of the classroom trying to get the class's attention while the children fool around.
Okay, two things here. The dread is pretty good. And fool around, not bad.
To get the class's attention while the children fool around. I think it takes a special person to be a teacher, and unfortunately I don't meet the criteria.
Okay. Okay, this is more like it. So here they refer to a specific level of school. Do you remember your favorite teacher from primary school?
Of course. I'll tell you about my second grade teacher, Miss Pulio. She was always kind, encouraging, and incredibly patient, even with us little rascals. I always felt a sense of warmth in her classroom, which the students responded well to. The world needs more teachers like her.
The only thing is, the answers are short. She uses good vocabulary like rascals. The grammar is error-free, but it's a bit simple. Even for part one. I mean, there aren't really errors. There are no errors. But short grammar is a bit simple. But I mean, she might still get a good score if this was just done naturally. She doesn't sound natural at all. Did you pretend to be a teacher in the childhood? Now, this is a weird question. There's something wrong with the grammar. Did you pretend to be a teacher when you were a child, not in the childhood? But this is the way I got the question, but it's not right.
Oh, yes. I remember playing teacher with the small chalkboard my friend had at her house. I used to think it was so entertaining to be the teacher and give the class assignments to do. I usually focused on math and art. I loved pretending to give orders.
Again, grammar is not terrible, but simple. No errors, but very simple. Maybe this, I remember VING. That's not bad. Used to, it's also not bad. But you can't say that she uses a range of structures, a range of grammar. The range is narrow. The accuracy is good. What qualities should a good teacher have? I think this is the last question. This is very short.
Firstly, I think a teacher needs to be patient. Secondly, I think the teacher must be kind and encouraging, which creates a warm, open learning environment. I also think they should have interpersonal skills to be able to understand the needs of all different students. There are different kinds of teachers, but I would use this as a rule of thumb.
Alright, so vocabulary again, very good. Use this as a rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is a very useful phrase. It's like as a general rule. There was a bit of more complex grammar here. I think the teacher must be kind and encouraging, which creates a warm, open learning environment. Because here she uses which. Other than that, it's a bit simple. She speaks very fluently, but not really at length.